Whoa, you there. You, my friend, you just walked yourself right into the next banger of an episode. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at beacons and talk about instamining, all while creating the perfect mining hub and maybe the most beautiful zone of the entire world. I'll let you be the judge. U4. Why is it always U4? Every single time something is happening inside of this world and I'm trying to add a new beautiful build, it's always U4. Smack dab and central in the middle of the way. Get out of here. So before today's episode, laddies, I was taking a look around at our world and I feel like it's finally time, long overdue. Right below the iron farm is kind of this like open, wide open, plain and boring zone. I think it's finally time we make some proper adjustments to it and fill it in. Sheep beep, a bouncing head sheep beep. I don't really know where to put you, so for now, you will live next to Frodo. Stay there, stay there. Haha, voila, beautiful. While I'm at it, I'm feeling nice. Go ahead, you have a meal. Now you six stay right here. Don't go anywhere, because I'll be back one day. Beacons. Oh, lovely beacon. The beacon is one of the most overpowered things in the entire game. However, if you place it down like this, it's not so hot. It doesn't really do anything. Instead, we're going to need some kind of valuable ore or resource to buff it up a little bit. You know, in other words, something like, oh, beautiful iron blocks right here. And actually, the perfect amount. Before we can do any of our building today, I think it is obligatory, because this is going to be essentially the main character of the show today, to talk a little bit about it and how it works. The beacon is an ancient, ununderstood power, something akin to the pyramids of Giza. If we place this beacon on top of these blocks and give it a minute, it will activate. Just like that, it will activate. With a brand new advancement in hand, if I slide into the beacon itself, I now have some buttons that I could press. I could either get speed from the beacon, or I could get haste from the beacon. If I go ahead and put a payment in here, then all of a sudden I can confirm it. Let's say, I don't know, maybe I'm feeling a little bit speedy today. I want that. After that, I put any of these items in this slot right there. It doesn't make a difference. We might as well use the cheap one and then confirm. You give it a second, top corner of the screen, it will activate. And all of a sudden, I have speed. Alright, so friends, there is quite a bit to the beacon. The beacon is a big boy. It's a very, very advanced thing inside of Minecraft. For starters, there are different tiers of beacons. We can do a tier 1, 2, 3, or all the way up to a 4. As we start to increase the tiers of the beacon's range is actually going to expand. This shortest tier, the one that I just activated in the guide world, is going to have the range all the way out to this gray wool line right there, in a square. From the center of this beacon, which coincidentally is going to be the beacon itself, in 20 blocks, any direction on the X and Z axis, I will have the speed effect. As soon as I move more than 20 blocks away, which with speed is going to happen in no time, my speed effect is slowly going to drain out. Eventually, speed will go away all the way, and then, if I want to get it back, I need to move within 20 blocks of the beacon again. As soon as I step within 20 blocks of that single beacon block over there, right there, I get speed again, and then I can run around and move really quick. It's pretty cool. Beacons, they are a magical, ununderstood being. In total, there are 6, maybe 7, depending on how you want to look at it, different powers from the beacon. However, if we make the beacon small, like I did right there, I only get these 2. When I grow it up a little bit more, I get access to all of these 4. One more, I get that, and then finally, I get options for secondary powers. So on a separate note, this world, I'm so happy with how this is coming along. I think it's really, really nice. I was taking a look at this hillside right here, and I feel like it, sorry about that. I feel like the hillside needs a little bit more. Like, I got this cool retaining wall, whatever you call it over there. I figured I could maybe build another one over here, but instead of just like connecting them all, well, insert that Kevin James meme right here because, well, maybe I was thinking I'm a little bit of a fancy guy. Instead of just doing a plain old simple wall that's all like one single connection, what if maybe I did a couple different walls? I don't know how this is really going to play out in here and line up, but what if I maybe did a couple different walls? I guess I could probably go one more segment right here. Yeah, a couple different walls. I'll cut it straight back, and yeah, then we got a lower retaining wall and an upper retaining wall. Then moving up the hill a little bit, it was a little bit of a pain. It's so steep right there, so this might be hard to like work with. So what if maybe instead I just don't work with it? To continue to start to carve out the most beautiful zone of this entire Minecraft world, I figured maybe what we could do is a separate second containing wall. I'm thinking aesthetically it will probably only make sense to continue the dark oak theme. After all, I like it. It's beautiful, it's simple, and it's perfect. But yeah, maybe like a second restraining wall right there, and then that just about almost walks us over to the iron farm. Now today, I have a goal. I have a goal and I have a dream. It's an ambitious dream, but at the same time, we're talented. Me and you together, we're good friends. So far, well look, I do not want to blow wind in our sails too much here, but so far, me and you together, the bills that we've cooked up in our humble little world we call home, I'd say they turned out pretty nice. So I think this might be an easy job today. Back to the beacon. Right now, as I clear out a little bit of dirt, I don't really need speed. Instead, if I give myself haste, this second beacon effect that we're going to talk about, I'm actually going to mine these blocks a little bit faster. Now, with dirt right here, with just haste 1, it's a little bit hard to notice. A little bit later on today, though, it'll be just about all you could notice. We'll be executing one of the most efficient and useful tricks to know in Minecraft of all time. When it comes to the effects that could be granted from a beacon, like speed that increases speed or jump boost that makes you jump a little bit higher, haste is by far probably the most useful one out of all of them. I mean, look, maybe strength could be useful near a mob farm that you didn't build just quite right, or resistance in an area where you're like actively fighting mobs like every day. But haste is all the way to go. A little fun fact about the beacon block, it doesn't have a tool to mine. You can just mine it with your hand, and it goes just as fast as it would with a pickaxe. Now look, that first beacon, it was honorable and very special to me. But I would like to go ahead and level it up more. Deo, cut. After experiencing the beacon in a survival setting right here together today. After we do all of that here together today, consider checking out the beacon episode of the Everything series for even more information on these super powerful things, including some fun secrets. A giant part of Minecraft can literally be found inside of the game's name. A crucial part of every single Minecraft base can be found underneath the ground. So back in the survival series, when we had this really cool base built on the side of the mountain, I had this insanely useful idea where I would basically go overkill here and mine out the equivalent of an entire chunk from the top all the way down to the bottom. By mining this out, I would ensure for myself that any time I needed to maybe get a little bit more deep slate, wanted to go mine for diamonds, or heck, even just needed to stock up on stone, well, by taking on this gigantic project that we did together, I would be able to have every single dream and goal of mine complete, and even more. To this very day, I still reminisce deeply and passionately about that entire world, but also specifically that very build. I feel like that build was not only so useful, but also really cool too. So that brings us to this torch. I feel like once I come in here and raise all of this land up and make it flat, I feel like that torch and maybe 7 blocks out from that torch, totaling 8 blocks, and then 8 blocks in the other direction as well. Well, I mean, look, use a little bit of imagination, and right now it's not very central at the base, sure, I'll admit it, but maybe one day soon, with this part of the base already filled up. You know how it goes, with that whole side of the base filled up, there's only one way that I could expand, and that's gonna be out that way, which means, in the future, this spot with a dark oak tree perfectly grown might just become smack dab dead center. The perfect spot for a mining zone. So check it. So far, this is what I've got. I got a simple wall down there, finish it up with some trapdoors and lanterns, going a little higher up. I got another simple wall. I figured in this base right here, this is definitely far enough away from the iron farm. Yeah, definitely no reason to be sweating constantly in real life currently. No, not real. It's got to be far enough away to be able to grow one of these giant, beautiful oak trees that I think would fill that whole area in and make it really green and alive. So I'll try and do that, and maybe even a cherry tree or something too. Moving on up here, more importantly, we've got the zone. I was thinking our big giant pit that I'm going to dig down to the bottom of the world, deep slate level, to bedrock, that's going to sit right there. By the time we're done with it later, we'll come back in and maybe beautify it, but hey, that's just getting ahead of ourselves. Beacons, they're a wonderful thing, but a mysterious thing. The biggest, best singular beacon is going to kick everything off with a base of a 9x9. Solid material blocks. When building a beacon and trying to get it good for all of its effects, the type of block that you use, it doesn't matter, but you need to use one of the block types of the materials that you can pay for the effect with, if that makes sense. In total, for a full beacon max level, you need 164 blocks. If you want to break it down into a stack amount, that's going to be 2 stacks and 36 more. After you do your initial 9x9, it bumps up to a 7x7. Then we get a 5x5. Finally, almost finally, to put the crown on it, we got a 3x3. The Sparkle Vision from the subreddit, I salute you. This one's for you. It goes out to you. With the beacon placed solidly on the top of a 9x9 beacon, a brand new advancement is ours, and one of the best beacons in the entire game. One big thing to note about beacons though, full or not, is if you have a block that is not transparent above the beacon, like it can't reach the sky, your beacon will actually unfortunately not activate. Thankfully, a beacon beam, it can pass clean through bedrock. Over here, now that we have a max beacon, I could choose haste, and then I can pick a secondary power as well. So let's say maybe I want to have haste and regeneration from this beacon. Well, if I tap haste over here and then I tap a regeneration right there and then go ahead and pay for it, check this out. In the top corner of the screen, once it actually activates, 2 effects. Sure enough, within range of this beacon, regeneration and haste. Within the range of the beacon. So once you build a fully tiered up and max range beacon, your effect range will be 50 blocks. And for every increasing range, you gain 10 extra blocks of distance. So when you build that small beacon, it'll start out as 20, then bump up to 30 if you add a layer, then 40, and then finally 50. With that max range of 50 and our worksite being this location right here, this is like pretty much the prime location to set up the beacon, at least for now. If I go ahead and swing this at the stone right here, as you can see, it kind of takes a brief second to mine. You know, things are taking more than an instant to mine if you like move around like this and you don't mine anything. But our dear friend, with the efficiency 5 and this big beacon in the background, if I play with the effects just a little bit, well, that stone will be gone in no time. Every single block in Minecraft has a different tool to mine with and a different mining speed. If I place dirt down and break it with my hand, it's kind of slow. If I place it down and break it with the iron shovel, it's a little bit faster. You basically know how it goes. The better the tool tier, so like maybe wood versus diamond, the faster that tool is going to work. With the different block mining times in mind and this beautiful effect right here called haste that speeds up mining speed. If I select my secondary power as haste 2, unfortunately, no more regeneration. However, fortunately, haste 2. So we'll go ahead and pay for this one final time. Go ahead and confirm it and give it a second. Haste 2 is immediately applied, and then regeneration right here, it's gonna slowly run out and then eventually go away forever. But it doesn't matter, I don't really need regeneration because with Haste 2, oh baby, with Haste 2, Instamining stone, oh it's beautiful. If you're ever looking to do a little bit of mining in your world, more specifically a lot of bit of mining inside of your world, Instamining. Instamining is all where it's at. For the dirt Instamining setup, I swear, if you double check it, in fact correct me, but I swear it's just like a diamond shovel with efficiency 5. And for the stone Instamining situation, it's a single diamond pickaxe with at least efficiency 5. Combine it with Haste 2, and it's a dream. A dreamy, breezy dream. But seriously, Instamining comes in many different shapes, forms, and sizes. Every single block is going to have a different requirement. For example, Instamine, the scaffolding, it is technically nothing. Like, no haste required or anything like that. You just break it with your fist, and it breaks. And on top of that, not every block can even be Instamined. Consider something like obsidian that mines really slow. With a Haste 2 beacon and efficiency 5 diamond pickaxe, we can mine it a whole lot quicker. But unfortunately, we'll never be able to mine it instantaneously. Alright, so this project. I have this cool vision of mine of this thing cutting all the way down to the bottom of the ground. However, I don't know if I'm a big fan of maybe like trying to change the blocks of the wall all the way down. Instead, I was thinking maybe up near the top, I'll come in and break in a little bit of cobblestone, and then because Instamining is so quick and I kind of lose control of it sometimes, if I accidentally break out the wall, what I think I might do today is just place a little bit of cobblestone in there and call it good. Cave. I've heard you for years and years now. Cave. What in the world? Oh, this is gonna be dangerous. That's gonna be dangerous. Cave. What in the world is going on down here? You got mobs standing in here with blocks. Enderman, get out of the way. Oh, I'm excited about this. I'm so excited about this because as soon as I get rid of this cave, you know what's gonna happen. You know exactly what's gonna happen. Look, I gotta be careful. The armor is really going away, but as soon as I get rid of this cave, it's gonna like light it up. Oh, it's big down here. As soon as I get this thing lit up, the mob farm back up on the surface is instantly going to get even more efficient. It looks like this thing might be a proper big cave down here too. Or maybe not. I mean, I'm sure there are caves, like, disconnected. Maybe there's even more, but I might have just lit the whole thing up. Wow. Ah, trader friend, you definitely have trades. Oh, no, careful, you're on the ledge. No, you fell. Oh, you poor guy. Whoa, 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 hold up. So I was running around getting a little bit of scaffolding, but bamboo farm, beautiful bamboo farm, you have since basically filled up all the way. This is the thing that I love about Minecraft survival. You start to build a base, you get a bunch of farms in, and every once in a while, you just gotta check them all, because they're running beautifully on their own. Also, not to brag too much, but I feel like I was kind of cooking with this idea right here. Look at that. We got the fences right there. Anytime, oh, I missed a block. I was thinking maybe to add extra coolness to this whole operation here, anytime I have a cave, instead of just closing it off, dark oak fences and leave it visible. Yeah, for sure, that'll be cool. Oh, and while I'm at it, ores. Any ores that are inside of the wall will stay inside of the wall because it'll make it look Moors. Well, we're talking about Instamining gravel, super famously, but you might not have thought about it with this lens. If you want to instamine gravel, you actually don't need any tool at all, maybe just a torch. To instamine gravel, break a bottom block, place a torch, and then it'll all fall right on top of it. Maybe this is even faster than instamining. This is also going to work for any other falling block in all of Minecraft. Maybe you're a next concrete bar, maybe a sand collection machine, I don't know. But tragedy is stricken. So we're right now, take a look at my screen, and then take a look at this screen, and then take a look at this screen, and you tell me if you notice anything, and if you don't, well, Instamine is unfortunately dead. It is gone. And that's because I'm out of range of the beacon. Just a mere few minutes ago, when we were talking about the beacon's range, we talked about the X and Z range, but not really the Y range. The Y range is interesting because in the direction of downwards, it's going to be exactly the same as it is on the X and the Z. So if it's a tier 1, you got 20 blocks of range down. If it's a max tier, you got 50 blocks down. However, in the upwards direction, it's infinite, which means the best spot for a beacon is, technically speaking, at the very bottom of your world, reaching high up, all the way into the sky. So, two things. It's time for us to relocate our beacon. We need to move this thing all the way down to the bottom of the world. And it's also time for us to get all the way down to the bottom of the world. Oh boy. Relocate the beacon? Yeah, check. That's the easy part. Not a problem. Not scary at all. Get down to the bottom of the world. Ooh, get down. Alright, so step 1, I need all of this scaffolding. Go ahead and hit the scaffolding, let it rain down on me. After that, I think what I want to do maybe is line myself up with one of the corners here. Maybe because there's no gravel or anything in this corner, I'll line myself up with this corner, more specifically these 2 blocks. What I need to do is make a way so I can go up and down, so like a spot for the scaffolding maybe in the very corner, but then also a spot for the beacon beam once I set this thing up at the bottom of the world. To get down to the bottom of the world safely without, like, making sure I fall into any lava or anything, I think I could do the classic 2-block method. The classic 2-block method, it's easy. We stand in the middle of 2 blocks, we dig straight down, kind of like this, and then if I were theoretically to see lava, like right there, I would catch myself and stop mining, and then, like, fill it in, or dump water, or something like that, and aha, in a cave, Yeah, so this was one of the things that I was very curious about. While setting all of this up today, I wonder how many different cave systems we're gonna end up running into. Given the state of some of the armor, I can't really afford to run into too many cave systems here. But at the same time, the more cave systems that I run into, yes, the more dangerous mobs, but also the less blocks that I have to mine. Anyways, I should probably get back to it. I'll meet you down at the bottom. Alright, and so here we are, all the way at the bottom of the world, negative 61. What I think I want to do here is backtrack a little bit. I'm imagining eventually having like water pool down here, maybe like just before bedrock begins. So maybe like negative 58 or something like that. After that, I need to figure out how to build a beacon in this spot right here, having it centered right here. Knowing about beacons and how many tiers I'm going to build, I can start everything off by placing a beacon floating in the sky right there. With this beacon placed there, dead center, then I can go ahead and slowly but surely reverse engineer this beacon. basically digging out the space that I'm gonna need and then filling it in with blocks. Now, before I start placing any blocks, let's double check this. That's centered right there. That should be 4 blocks out in that direction, 4 blocks out there, 4 out right there, and oh, 4 out right there. I'm perfect every single time. I am so perfect. One of the beautiful things about a beacon is it doesn't care. If there's other blocks like touching the pyramid directly, it literally doesn't matter. As long as your beacon has sky access, which absolutely it does, the beacon's gonna be able to activate. Down here, if I tap haste and then haste 2, because I got that max beacon, just like that, I've got a haste 2 beacon. Now what I could do to get back up and down is place scaffolding right there, going all the way up to the top. The only sad thing about all of this is, unfortunately, Deep Slate is not insta-mineable. Even if I theoretically had a better pickaxe, netherite, efficiency 5, I will never be able to insta-mine Deep Slate. It's just one of those blocks. Now, technically speaking, I suppose I could use, like, moss mining, a really cool strategy where I place moss down, use bone meal, and turn all of the Deep Slate into moss blocks, then insta-mine it instantly with a hoe, but unfortunately, then I don't get the Deep Slate. It just becomes plain old moss blocks. And this beautiful baby, oh, it's such a beautiful building block for me. I could never give it up. And so at this point, to break back in, I suppose I will say, in case you haven't noticed, the time lapse has been time lapsing, but not for long. Well, actually for long, it will go in the background, but instead of music, I will now talk over it. In today's time lapse event, I'd like to talk with you guys about today's question or comment of the day. It was a question from me. I've seen this comment on a couple of the recent episodes, like how am I doing? What have I been up to? You know, all of that kind of vibe and everything like that. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it sincerely. What I've been up to, how I've been doing good. And I've been up to terrifying, slightly evil things. Okay. So lately, with it being January, I hate the month, it's miserable, cold, all of that kind of stuff, except this time it hasn't even snowed where I live, which is like, it makes it even more sad. There's not even pretty snow or anything. So I've looked inwards to horror games and horror in general. Recently, I found this channel that I've been absolutely vibing with called, I think it's like Lighthouse Horror or something like that. It's basically one of those channels that, reads the scary story, but, talks it out, and then he kind of, almost acts it out a little bit too. It's really, really cool. While I was actually working on this project, certain bits of this time-lapse have been, fully muted, and that's because I was listening to the video while actually, working on the project, and it, overlaps the game footage, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's amazing. I've been into scary things like crazy, including stories and games. I talked a little bit about it in this episode of the Hardcore series right here, but horror games, I've been playing them. So far, I'm making a lot more progress on my replay and then new play of Layers of Fear. As of the recording of this video, I'm in the part of the game, if you're familiar with it, where there's I'm an actor and I'm on a ship, and then no spoilers, but something happened to the ship and I know about that, and I'm basically finishing up that section of the game. It's I like it, it's fun, but I will be honest that I think it compared to Madison or, gosh, I forget the name of the other horror game I played last year, but it was in a house and whatever, but compared to those games right there, Layers of Fear is nice and it's a cool story, but I don't know, it's like a walking simulator maybe. Going forward here in the next future episodes, I want to try and talk more about this random stuff with you guys. Maybe how my horror games have been going. Maybe answer random questions that you guys have. So as always, please keep leaving questions or things down in the comments below for the comment of the day segment. You never know. Your question could be the question to inspire it all. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, how the turns have tabled. I'm finally all the way at the bottom of this pit right here. Of course, it would work out that the caves are going to show up when I can instamine, and then as soon as I can no longer instamine and I have to mine like this the whole time, well, the caves want to disappear. I guess the bright side of this is all of the tuff is very, very quick and easy to mine, and, I mean, at the least I've done it. I'm all the way here at the bottom. Now going forward, from this point to the project on, I've got 3 big major plans. Plan number 1, dump water bucket right there, go back up to the top, get another water bucket, and dump even more down here. I want a solid floor of water everywhere. So that all means it's time for me to take that slow crawl of a climb all the way back up to the top.
2,000 years later.
One of the sweetest outcomes from this whole project is this beautiful chest right here. A double chest of deep slate and even more. I got a lot of other blocks, these blocks, and these sweet blocks too. So many blocks. But it's not all just blocks, it's also sweet, sweet, beautiful profit, of course, in that deep slate range. Even though this chunk wasn't generated in 1.20.2 with more diamonds or anything like that, I did manage to find a little bit there. And some other cool blocks too. Alright now, bone blocks, bone blocks. When it comes to sweet bone blocks, when it comes to bones, I'm doing alright. Mighty alright if I say so myself. So for this next part of the operation here, I want to make it nice and easy for me to get up and down forever. And in order for me to actually be able to achieve and execute all of that, first things first, I need to pick a spot to come back up to the surface to. When it comes to that spot, I was thinking maybe save room for like a little bit of a ceiling on this thing or whatever and make it nice and small. All I really need is room for one spot. I was imagining maybe a bubble column right here, and then to get down, it's simple. I just send myself over the ledge, plummeting like, the 200 blocks all the way down to the bottom. No big deal. Now prepare to be amazed, my friends, because this right here, what you're already experiencing, is the fastest bubble column to ever be made. All the way down to the bottom, thanks to that bone farm, I could actually use a little bit of bone meal to grow the kelp all the way up to the top. Way back up at the top, it's amazing. I got so close to actually being able to pull it off. But no big deal, I'll just finish it off. Now it's time for a little bit of building. I was thinking a block here, and maybe another block there, maybe a staircase there, that could be cool. How about perhaps another log right there, that'll be nice, and maybe a couple slabs here. After that, it's time for a campfire, maybe a trap door or two, and heck, maybe we'll round it off with a little bit of fences and a few more slabs. Alright, this always makes me so nervous, but I flattened the water out of the bottom. I can jump all the way down to this thing, all the way to the bottom. I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that. And then down here, the bubble column, we go ahead and get rid of that kelp and clean it up just a little bit. Just like that, the world's tallest bubble column that goes from the literally bedrock at the bottom all the way up to the top, and a cozy little building too, is just about done and just about dusted. The only thing I have to do now is maybe beautify this area just a tiny bit today, and then we'll finish it off a little bit later on. So for this point in the video, as I begin to speed through this final zone up here, depending on your fortune-telling, mind-reading, predicting skills, you might have already seen it coming from like a million miles away. For starters, of course, up top, I'm gonna begin by spilling a path into this area. But I don't want it to be like a clean path. I feel like a clean path wouldn't really make sense. Instead of it being a perfect, pretty little path, I'm gonna make it like worn down from the ages of work and wear and people walking up here. You know how it goes. Add the lore, make it spicy. This little old path that I added up here, it will of course come from multiple directions. After all, right now, this is almost like a centerpiece of the world. Not quite, but like almost. But then after that, instead of just leaving grass all over the place, which I feel like I totally could, it would fit the vibe of a mining zone, but maybe more so, the actual vibe of a mining zone is different types of detailed dirt. Yeah, different types of dirt. Maybe coarse dirt and rooted dirt. The first time I think I'm literally ever building with this block. Maybe what we could do here is spill both of those blocks out in a random varied combination all around this central hole. Also up here, I figured maybe for our quick and easy, efficient way up and down reliably every single time, maybe what I could do is build up something with like stone bricks or something. That could be cool and feel grand to enter. Now, as for this whole zone and like the limits of it, how far I want to stretch it, I'm not too sure. I was thinking maybe for today, we'll just do something like this. 100%. Eventually, as in potentially soon eventually, we'll come back up here and add a little bit more to the surface. For now, I kind of really just want to start to set the vibe of the zone, so you kind of start to get the picture. I think another thing that'll really help this area like come to life and get filled in is once I get like trees or plants or whatever I end up doing in here, and maybe terraform that a little bit more as well. Speaking of terraforming and decorating though, buttons, rocks sitting on the ground up here, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like logically, I need to come in here and actually, today is a big day at first because I think this is the very first time I'm using one of my favorite build tricks, the little buttons, in the entire world. Another cool little thing that I was thinking is maybe over here, like around the plants that I do want to actually leave here, I could come in and do like maybe some rocks or something, a proper border, you know? It's a start. That's what I would definitely call it today. Today, I would call it a start. I will definitely, absolutely be coming back in here and working on it a little bit more. For example, this path right here, I mean, I could honestly, probably, matter of fact, let's just do it. Congratulations, lucky viewer number 96, for you have unlocked a brand new path inside of the world. Anyways, though, I'm getting a little bit carried away with myself here. Something like that, that'll be a nice way to finish off this part of the world. The very final thing I need to do today is this beacon. Of course, there's no way I could leave a beacon sitting out here. The beacon 100% needs to go back in its rightful trusty spot, inside of a box, for the rest of time. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode on beacons and a little bit about Instamining. Beacons are definitely a big topic that I think we're going to end up coming back to and talk about a little bit more later on, so subscribe so you don't miss it. For early access to episodes, my Patreon, the occasional bonus video, tap join, become a channel member today. Until next time, it's Ben B. Waddles. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.